Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Well, it's been so great to learn more about the farmers markets coming up across the Bay of Quinte region, but springtime also means the start of the fabulous Roseneath Carousel. If you're heading toward Peterborough, you might stop and see it. I've had the pleasure for a number of years. And joining us to talk about the heritage that is the Roseneath Carousel and why it is so popular is Barb Foreman, the Secretary and Treasurer of the Roseneath Agricultural Society. So Barb, I've been trying to get you on for years. This is fabulous. We finally do a Roseneath Carousel piece.
And I'm glad I'm here.
So great you're here, Barb. So for folks down in Prince Edward County or Quinte West who don't know where Roseneath is, where specifically are you located? Because you're tucked away a little bit.
We are about an hour and a half east of Toronto. You take 464, exit 474, and you turn onto County Road 45. You just follow it for 20 kilometers. You're right in the village of Roseneath.
And tucked in the Roseneath Fairgrounds, tucked in a bit, you might not know what you're looking at, especially if the boards are off, is the iconic Roseneath Carousel. Barb.
Can't miss it. It's a 16-sided building there. You can tell what it is.
Can't miss it. And it shines up when it's going, yeah. What's the story behind the Roseneath Carousel, Barb? Because it's a local icon up towards Peterborough.
It was built in Abilene, Kansas in 1906 by a gentleman called C.W. Parker. He traveled around to different fairs and carnivals throughout Ontario and the States. Somehow, the carousel ended up at Mohawk Park in Brantford, Ontario, and it operated at the end of a rail line there. And when they shut the rail line down, they put the carousel into storage in Hamilton. And a group of our Agricultural Society directors found out about it. They went to Hamilton. They purchased the carousel for $675. It was in 7 wheelbarrow loads of parts. They brought it all here to Roseneath, re-erected it on the very spot that it sits right now, and built the building around it. And it's been sitting here since 1932.
It's been lovingly restored. What is it taking to keep the carousel running every season long? Because it's coming up soon. It'll open for the full season.
We have a group of volunteers that are dedicated to this carousel. The actual upkeep of it is not so hard when we look after it week after week. It's just a matter of making sure that it is oiled and the upkeep is not that difficult if we watch what we're doing. That might sound easy, but it's not in the long run. It takes a lot to make sure that people aren't destroying what we've got here. And I think people don't. When they come to see us, they realize what we've got. And they're very careful with getting onto the carousel. They're careful getting off of it. And they like to talk. They really like to know about this carousel.
Yeah, I think last summer alone, I might have been on it for 8 times. It's one of those things where you go on it once and then you just want to keep going around and exploring all the lovely paintings that have been done across the carousel. So, Barb, how many horses do you have on that carousel? Because there's a boat, if I recall, too, that's awfully fun to ride.
There's 40 horses and 2 boats. So it can hold approximately 48 people per ride when it's there. And all of the horses have different names. They look different. We quite ask the people that come if they can tell us which one is the lead horse. That's a real conversation piece. So anyone that comes, they have to find the lead horse.
How fast does it go, Barb?
It goes roughly 4.5 kilometers an hour. It seems like that's quite fast, but when you're on it, it's not, especially when the organ is playing and the horses are going up and down on the grasshopper mechanism. Everyone's just having a good time riding. And
yes.
That music is loud. The organ has one sound. We can't turn it down. It is loud. I live here in Roseneath, and if the wind is in the right direction, you can hear it at my house when it is going.
I bet. Yeah, because it is awfully loud when it gets going, but it's so much fun. What about the Canada Post stamp, Barb? Because you guys were in the news a little while ago with kind of the swag and the little documentary that appeared online and the big Canada Post. How did that go with
Yes.
the stamp?
About 15 years ago, we tried to get Canada Post to do a postage stamp for us, to no avail. That didn't work. And then 2 years ago, out of the blue, I got a call from Canada Post wanting me to send a picture of one of our horses on the carousel because they said they were going to do a stamp collection of 5 carousels in Canada, and ours had been picked as one of them. So I sent a picture to them. We worked off and on trying to make sure that picture was the way it was supposed to be. And lo and behold, out come the stamp with the Roseneath Carousel. And it was quite a conversation piece all that summer. And it still is. We do have a few stamps ourselves, and I'm able to get some from Canada Post if I run out. And we just have them there at the carousel, and we sell them just for the normal price of a postage stamp. Our postmaster here in Roseneath, he usually keeps a few stamps on hand too, just in case people come and want to get one of those stamps. Yeah, that was a real, that was something else. We were not expecting that. We have become world famous now.
That's good to hear. Yeah, Barbara, I was going to ask you, how many carousels do you know of this vintage that are still in working order and pristine shape in Canada? Are you one of the few left?
This is the only one of its kind that is left in 1906. There are other carousels. We know the one in St. Catharines. It is a 1913. There's one in Burnaby, BC. I believe that is a 1915 Parker too. But ours is the only one we know of completely intact in existence right now.
Well, now that we have everyone really interested about riding the Roseneath Carousel and seeing the joy that we've all experienced for years, when does it officially open, Barb, this season, and what are the hours? How does it work in terms of access to this?
It's going to open this year on May the 19th from 1 until 3 p.m. And then we're open every Sunday after that through until Thanksgiving Sunday. And then we also have unscheduled openings. People can get a hold of me. We do birthday parties and weddings and anniversaries and whatever it is you'd like to do, we'll try it if we're able to do it for you. If you went to the website at roseneathcarousel.com, you're able to get a hold of me through that if it's easiest for you. And we already have about 7 bookings this year already of people coming in, other than opposite from the actual Sundays that we operate on.
How much is each ride, Barb? Because cash is king over there. There's no e-transfer still, right? It's just a couple of coins.
Each ride is $4 a ride is what we charge. Now, children, I would say 5 and under, they're not quite able to sit on those horses by themselves. So we ask that a parent accompany them, and we charge the parent. We don't charge the child to take the ride. And sometimes it's more the parent that wants to go for the ride than the child does.
Yes, I've seen that firsthand, that's for sure. Where does the money go, Barb, especially for upkeep? Because I can only imagine kind of the bills, especially with keeping this in pristine condition.
When we did the restoration on the carousel, we had a special meeting of the Agricultural Society because they actually own the carousel. We have to keep a trust fund intact so that if there happened to be a deer that went down or something in that neighborhood, it's quite expensive to have that repaired. And the Agricultural Society was always afraid that it would take the fair under because the fair is a nonprofit organization. And to maintain a carousel like this is quite expensive. So this trust fund is intact. We have to have $40,000 in there at all times. And then all the rest of the money that we raise, it's ongoing. We have to send 3 or 4 horses out every year after we shut down. It gets scratches on it. We don't ask people to take shoes off and whatnot when they come in. So all of these scratches or whatever might happen have to be touched up again. And we have Heather Cooper, her daughter Sarah, and her husband that look after these horses for us when they take them out. In fact, they're coming back on Friday, the 4 that we have sent out now. And it looks exactly like it did when it came here after the restoration in 1993.
Great to hear. Well, Barb, as a wrap up here, for folks who want to donate to the Roseneath Carousel and make sure that fund is nicely topped up, where can they go?
They can go to the website. As I said before, it tells you on there where you can send the money to, or it can be sent to our email address for the Roseneath Carousel, which is roseneathfair@explorenet.com, and it can be e-transferred right into the account is what happens. And as I say, all of the money that is there stays with the carousel for grease or whatever we're going to do. The people that look after this with me are all volunteers. We are not paid. We do this every Sunday out of the goodness of our heart, I guess you'd say.
Well, Barb Foreman, we are grateful for you and all the volunteers keeping the story of the Roseneath Carousel going, but more importantly, keeping all the smiles on our faces, especially in tough economic and political times right now. Barb Foreman, it's been an absolute delight finally meeting you on the show. Once again, the Roseneath Carousel. I'll see you hopefully this summer.
Oh,
thanks.
And we look forward to having everybody come see us.